In the vast expanse of space, where countless civilizations rise and fall, one truth remained constant. The Nexari Empire knew no defeat. Their crystalline ships, powered by quantum engines, had conquered 1,000 worlds across 3 galaxies. Their soldiers, enhanced with biotechnology beyond comprehension, had never tasted the bitterness of surrender. For 10,000 years, their dominion expanded unchallenged, unchecked, and unlimited, until they found Earth. The first contact occurred on a quiet Tuesday morning in 2047. The Nexari fleet emerged from hyperspace like a sheet of metallic rain, their ships reflecting the golden sunrise as they positioned themselves above every major city on the planet. Their message was simple: surrender or be destroyed. They gave humanity 12 hours to decide. They expected fear. They expected submission. What they got instead was a response that would echo through the corridors of history: laughter. You see, while the Nexari had perfected the art of war through technology, humanity had mastered it through necessity. Every human conflict, every battle fought on Earth's blood-soaked soil had taught us something the Nexari never learned: adaptability. Where they relied on shields, we learned to find weak points. Where they depended on formation, we excelled in chaos. Captain Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force stood at the command center in Geneva, a slight smile playing on her lips as she watched the Nexari ships maintain their perfect, predictable patterns. "They're so orderly," she mused, running her fingers through her graying hair. "Has anyone told them that order is the first casualty of war?" The following hours would prove her right in ways that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of warfare. As the deadline approached, humanity revealed its hand, not with a grandiose declaration or a massive counter-fleet, but with something the Nexari had never encountered in their millennia of conquest: guerrilla warfare on a cosmic scale. Small, agile Earth ships, appearing no more advanced than primitive space shuttles, carried within them the seeds of the Empire's first defeat. The Nexari's perfect formations became their perfect weakness. Their unbreakable shields had never faced the creative brutality of human ingenuity. Their enhanced soldiers had never encountered the unpredictable nature of human determination. But perhaps most importantly, they had never faced an enemy who smiled in the face of impossible odds, an enemy who had spent its entire existence fighting itself, learning, adapting, and surviving against all odds. An enemy who turned desperation into inspiration. As the 12-hour deadline neared its end, Captain Chen gave the order that would begin humanity's greatest battle. "Let's show them why they should have given us more time," she said, her voice calm, but carrying an edge that her crew knew all too well. After all, humans have always been terrible at meeting deadlines. The Nexari Empire was about to learn why being invincible might just be the greatest weakness of all. Because sometimes, the most dangerous opponent isn't the one with the strongest armor or the most advanced weapons. Sometimes, the most dangerous opponent is the one who has nothing to lose and everything to prove. And humanity, well, we've been proving ourselves since we first looked up at the stars and dared to dream we could reach them. The first strike came not with a bang, but with a whisper. As the Nexari's quantum sensors swept Earth's atmosphere, searching for signs of our inevitable surrender, they failed to detect the thousands of microscopic drones that we'd released into space. These tiny machines, each no bigger than a grain of sand, carried within them decades of human technological innovation and one very simple mission. "Operation Trojan Horse is a go," Captain Chen announced, her voice steady despite the weight of 7 billion lives resting on her shoulders. The command center erupted into controlled chaos as officers relayed orders across the globe. On screens worldwide, the crystalline Nexari ships continued their intimidating display, their formations as perfect as constellations. But perfection, as humanity had learned through countless wars and conflicts, often breeds predictability. The Nexari's ships maintained strict spacing, precise angles, and unwavering positions, a testament to their military discipline. It was this very discipline that we intended to use against them. Our microscopic drones, powered by experimental quantum engines of our own design, began their silent infiltration. While the Nexari searched for massive energy signatures and conventional weapons, These tiny warriors slipped through the gaps in their sensor grid. Years of studying deep-sea creatures had taught us how to make them move like plankton, riding solar winds and magnetic fields. First wave has reached their outer hull, Lieutenant David reported, his dark eyes fixed on the holographic display. No signs of detection. Around him, the command center held its collective breath. These weren't just military personnel. They were scientists, engineers, and strategists who had worked tirelessly since first contact was established. The Nexaries' arrogance was their blind spot. They believed their technology was so advanced that no primitive species could possibly harm them. They hadn't counted on humanity's greatest weapon, our ability to learn from everything around us, even nature itself. Our drones carried a specially engineered variant of Earth's most resilient life form, tardigrades. These microscopic creatures, modified through years of genetic research, could survive the harsh conditions of space. But more importantly, they carried within them a biological key that would unlock the first crack in the Nexaries' supposedly impenetrable defense. 9 hours until their deadline, Captain Chen announced, watching as more green dots appeared on her screen, indicating successful drone infiltration. Let them think we're scrambling to organize a surrender. Let them think we're afraid. The truth was, fear had long since given way to determination. Humanity had spent its entire existence fighting, against nature, against itself, against extinction. Each battle had taught us something valuable, and now, those lessons were about to pay off. As the microscopic invasion continued undetected, Captain Chen allowed herself a moment of reflection. The Nexarii had conquered 1,000 worlds, yes, but they had never encountered a species that turned its greatest weakness, internal conflict, into its greatest strength. They had never faced an enemy that had practically invented the art of asymmetric warfare. They were about to learn why humanity's favorite stories always involved underdogs winning against impossible odds. The first sign that our plan was working came 6 hours into the countdown. Subtle fluctuations appeared in the Nexarii ship's shield harmonics, barely noticeable, but exactly what we hoped for. Our modified tardigrades were doing their job, slowly altering the crystalline structures that powered their defensive systems. Captain Chen leaned forward in her chair, watching as data streamed across her holographic display. Status report on Phase 2, she commanded, her voice carrying the weight of years spent preparing for this moment. The response came immediately. Thousands of Earth's submarines, hidden beneath the ocean's surface, were in position. The Nexarii had expected an attack from above. Their sensors were focused on the skies, watching for missiles, fighters, or energy weapons. They never thought to look below. They never considered that a primitive species would turn their entire planet into a weapon. 3 hours remaining, Lieutenant David announced, his fingers dancing across the control panel. The Nexarii are broadcasting again. Their message filled the command center, still carrying that same tone of superiority. Your time grows short, humans. We see no signs of preparation for surrender. Perhaps you need a demonstration of our power. Right on schedule. The massive Nexarii flagship, positioned above the Pacific Ocean, began charging its main weapon. The energy buildup was visible even from the ground, a gathering storm of purple-white light that promised devastation. But they didn't realize they were playing directly into our hands. All submarines prepare for synchronized pulse, Captain Chen ordered. Her heart raced, but her voice remained steady. Years of simulations had led to this moment. The oceans themselves would become our greatest ally. The Nexaries' perfect formation, their unshakable confidence, and their believed invincibility had blinded them to one crucial fact. Earth wasn't just our home. It was our teacher. And now, as their weapons charged and their shields weakened, they were about to learn why humans had survived every catastrophe our world had thrown at us. Lieutenant David's voice cut through the tension. 2 minutes until weapon discharge. Shields at 60% integrity and falling. He paused, a ghost of a smile crossing his face. They still haven't noticed. Captain Chen stood, her eyes fixed on the massive holographic display showing Earth and the Nexarii fleet. Everything hinged on the next few moments. Humanity has waited long enough, she said, reaching for the command console. Let's show them why you should never corner a species that turned survival into an art form. The command center's tension shattered as alerts blared across every screen. The Nexary flagship's weapon was ready to fire. But something unexpected happened. Their entire fleet suddenly shifted formation, breaking their perfect geometric patterns for the first time. They detected something, Lieutenant David reported, his voice tight. But not us. They're responding to another fleet. Above Earth, hundreds of new signatures appeared, materializing from what seemed like nowhere. They weren't human vessels. Captain Chen's eyes widened as she recognized the design of these new ships. They belonged to the Zarkax, another species supposedly conquered by the Nexary centuries ago. They waited, she whispered, understanding dawning. They waited for someone else to throw the first punch. The Nexary's communication channels erupted with urgent commands as they attempted to reposition their forces to face this new threat. Their perfect strategy was crumbling, forced to choose between maintaining their intimidation of Earth and defending against their former subjects. All submarines hold position, Chen commanded. Let them split their attention. The Nexary's shield frequencies were still deteriorating, thanks to our microscopic invaders, but now they were too distracted to notice. Pride came before the fall, after all. The Zarkax ships moved with an eerily familiar strategy, one that humanity had shared through hidden quantum transmissions months ago. While the Nexary had been watching Earth's skies, we'd been reaching out to their other victims, teaching them everything we knew about asymmetric warfare. 1 minute to weapon discharge, David announced. The Nexary flagship's weapon pulsed with energy, but now it faced a terrible choice: target Earth as planned or defend against the revenge of their former conquests. Captain Chen's fingers hovered over the final command sequence. Earth's oceans churned with building energy as thousands of submarines prepared to make history. The Nexary were about to learn why you should never underestimate not just one species fighting for survival, but an alliance of them. Sometimes, the greatest victories come not from being the strongest, but from being the ones willing to unite the underdogs. Submarines, execute synchronized pulse, now. Captain Chen's command rang through the center. In an instant, Earth's oceans lit up with electromagnetic energy. The underwater shockwave, calibrated to match the weakened frequencies of the Nexary shields, surged upward through the atmosphere. The Nexary flagship's weapon discharged at that exact moment, but instead of hitting Earth, the energy beam refracted through their compromised shields. The modified tardigrades had done more than weaken their defenses. They had altered the crystalline structure to create a massive prism effect. The weapon's energy split into thousands of smaller beams, each one targeting their own ships. Their perfect formation became their perfect downfall as the redirected energy cascaded through their fleet like a deadly light show. The Zarkax fleet pressed their advantage, their ships moving in the unpredictable patterns we taught them. They targeted the gaps in the Nexary's disintegrating formations, striking with precision where the shields were weakest. Multiple Nexary ships going dark. Lieutenant David reported, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding on the screens. Their command structure is failing. The mighty Empire's fleet, faced with attacks from above and below, began to break apart. But the Nexary had one final surprise. Their flagship, damaged but not destroyed, initiated what appeared to be a self-destruct sequence. The energy buildup was massive, threatening to take out not just Earth's forces, but the Zarkax fleet as well. Captain Chen didn't hesitate. Activate the quantum sink, she ordered. Earth's final defense emerged from hidden orbital positions, devices that could absorb and redirect quantum energy, technology we'd reversed engineered from studying the Nexary's own ships. The flagship's explosion never came. Instead, its energy was captured and channeled back through Earth's submarine network, feeding into our planet's power grid. The mighty Nexary Empire's last attack became humanity's first step toward unlimited clean energy. As the remaining Nexary ships surrendered or retreated, Captain Chen opened a channel to the Zarkax fleet. "Thank you for joining the fight," she said, then smiled. "Now, let's discuss how we can help liberate your homeworld." The day the Nexary lost their invincibility became the day the galaxy gained something far more powerful: hope. Sometimes, The greatest victory isn't in defeating an enemy, but in showing others that victory is possible. 1 month after the Battle of Earth, Captain Chen stood at a podium before the United Earth Council, her formal uniform adorned with the newly created Defender of Humanity medal. Behind her, a holographic display showed the ongoing liberation efforts across former Nexary space. The quantum energy captured from their flagship had revolutionized Earth's technology, powering a new age of exploration and advancement. The Nexary's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating our technology. She addressed the assembled leaders. It was underestimating our ability to unite. The chamber's screens showed footage of human ships working alongside Zarkak's vessels, freeing world after world from the remnants of the Empire's control. The modified tardigrades, now dubbed shield breakers by the media, had become a symbol of human ingenuity. Our submarine tactics were being taught in alien military academies, and Earth had become a beacon for species seeking to protect themselves from future threats. But victory had brought its own challenges. Dozens of alien civilizations, inspired by humanity's success, sought alliance and protection. The United Earth Council had transformed into the Galactic Defense Coalition, with Captain Chen serving as its first commander. Lieutenant David, now Admiral David, oversaw the implementation of Earth's defense strategies across friendly worlds. The oceans of 1,000 planets now housed submarine networks, ready to defend against any would-be conquerors. The remaining Nexary, those who survived their empire's fall, faced a choice: adapt to a new galaxy or fade into obscurity. Many chose to learn from their defeat, sending representatives to Earth to study what they'd overlooked: the power of innovation born from adversity. We didn't just win a war, Chen concluded her address, her eyes scanning the diverse faces before her. We proved that true strength isn't in being invincible. It's in being adaptable, in learning from every defeat, and in knowing when to reach out to others. The quantum sync technology, combined with knowledge shared by grateful alien allies, had solved Earth's energy crisis. Cities gleamed with clean power, and humanity's first true interstellar ships were under construction. As Chen left the podium, she received a message from the Zarkak's High Command. Their homeworld was hosting a celebration of liberation, and Earth's representatives were guests of honor. She smiled, remembering the Nexary's first message to humanity, their demand for surrender. They had expected to find another conquest. Instead, they found the species that would end their empire not through superior force, but through the very traits they had dismissed as weakness: creativity, adaptability, and the willingness to stand together against impossible odds. In the end, the species that had never known defeat learned the most valuable lesson of all. True invincibility lies not in never falling, but in always being able to rise again, stronger than before. And humanity, with our new allies by our side, would make sure that lesson was never forgotten. The stars above Earth shone brighter now, not with the cold light of conquest, but with the warm promise of friendship among the stars. We had done more than defend our world. We had changed the galaxy forever.